Energy, it is a system, it is a part of the energy bodies. Okay, not the chakras. The third thing now, we started with the divine spark. Okay, that third thing is what is the divine spark, and this third thing is known as spirit. What is this spirit? You have heard of the word spirit. You have also heard of the word entity. Some people mix both the word spirit and entity. No, they are different. Entity means you have died, and your energy body could not ultimately complete the journey and go to the ancestral world where it is supposed to go. So you became stuck in between. What is this stuckness? It means you became a ghost. We call it in our language bhoot. That is what is the entity. Now you are roaming around. So these entities want to enter into the human body because they want to smoke, they want to drink, they want to eat, they want to do all kind of things. Now, when I'm talking about spirit, I'm not talking about the entities. I just made a clarification. Spirit is the divine part in you, but what exactly is it divine about? Its divinity comes from what is known as Brahman. Not the Brahman which is your caste, not like Brahman, Kshatriya and all that. Go back to the Upanishads. What does it talk? It says the one unchanging reality Brahman. Brahman, from that, which in English basically means matrix. From the matrix comes a portion, a tiny, a spark in every human. This is the divinity in you. And this part basically has a job to do. The job of this spark or spirit is to ensure that the storyline which was written by your soul is executed to the perfection that the soul wanted to be executed, which means it makes you a good person, it makes you a bad person. It makes you a killer, it makes you a judge. It makes you a great player, it makes you a lousy player. It takes you into the heights of success, it brings you down into the depths of failure. It brings people to you, it takes people away from you. This is the work of that spark. It is divine. And that is why when Jesus talked about Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, for the first time, Jesus revealed about the Spirit. And why did he use the word holy? Because Jesus' work was holy. And it was the work of the Spirit to carry out the work of Jesus among the humanity. Minus that Spirit, Jesus wouldn't have been able to do and deliver what he delivered. So this is the divine spark within you. The other thing that you mentioned was
universal oneness.
Universal oneness. So this concept of universal oneness comes from an idea that we all are one, basically. And where does this come from, that we all are one? It comes from the concept that everything is Brahman. And that is the only truth. Brahman becomes Atman when a portion of the Brahman enters the human. And after the human dies, the Atman goes back into the Brahman. This is the teachings of the Upanishads. This oneness of the Brahman, and because the Upanishad says that you are dreaming your life, ultimately we all are one, ultimately there is no separation, because everything is Brahman appearing as many. So this concept of oneness comes from that place, that We all are one, appearing to be many, but truly we are only one. And that realization suddenly frees a human to make unnecessary efforts to become special. And that frees that human from all kind of so-called uh, trying to become something, because you already are that. So that is the concept of universal oneness.
Does that take away one's egos also, or it still remains there?
It does not take away the ego. The ego will never go away. Humans believe that only humans have ego. It's not true. Our ego is much better than the ego that the gods have. Human ego is much better than the egos that the gods have. You have no idea how much ego the gods have. You revere to your gods. They are not worth revering. I know your gods in and out. I know the king in and out. I know everyone from the highest to the lowest in and out. And I truly tell you, humans should respect the humans. There is no one worth respecting greater than the humans. And I say this from my first-hand experience. In spite of the fact that the forces have devastated our life, we still take care of each other. We still stand with each other. And in spite of the fact that they have put lust and greed inside us, in spite of the fact that they have put fear inside us, still at times we reach out, we lend our hand to our fellow humans. Gods don't do that. And you know what gods do? When they give you something, they take much more, and you have no idea how much they are taking from you. You have no idea. With gods, nothing is free. You pay a huge price. And so I don't revere the gods. I don't even respect the gods. I respect humans. But you will not understand that till you know what I know.
So when you say that, are you referring to God 2, God 3, God 4? Because
I'm referring to all the so-called gods except the Supreme God.
Well, I was told in China, people used to, when people die, they give huge amount of bribes. Like in our case, we take them for funerals, then set them on fire. They also do that, but with the human body or the mortal remains, they also put freeze, air conditioners, TV. So those are bribes for the god. I don't know how much is it true, but
It is true, because we assume that we can somehow bribe the forces that does not allow a part of us which remains after death to go to where it is meant to go. So in our own vocabulary or understanding, we give our things to the forces that please do not stop this one whom we love, and let it go to where they are meant to go. It is another matter that they don't go. It has been known, and this is what is my personal experience, 80% of the people do not reach the ancestral world and remain stuck in between, in spite of the fact that we do our tarpans, we do our whatever we do after they die, the shraddhs, we do all the havans and pujas, yet 80% of them don't go to the ancestral world. Why is it that they don't go? Because the one who dies doesn't want to go. Why does it not want to go? It is like my family, my money, my business, my land, my property, my locker. Now it is stuck in all these things. And no matter how much you are trying to send them, they remain back. And that is the reason why you have to go every year and year by, you remain calm, don't harm me, because they really can harm you. And that is the reason we created the system that appease them. If they are doing too much, then we have to go into some kind of so-called practices, which is like all the doshas we have to remove. We have to pray, please go where you are meant to go, please don't hang around, please don't be in my house, please don't disturb us. Why we have to do all these things? Because they don't go, they don't want to go, and we are pushing them, go, go, go.
Forget about what the Chinese do. Even in our cases, also sometimes we go and talk to God like, "Oh God, make me come up first in this exam, or let us maybe come up with flying colors in some competitive exam or somewhere else. Then I promise I will give you this in return once I actually become first, second, or third." So that is also kind of cases
Yeah,
of
it is
bravery.
like we come from our human experience that we feel that if we appease those who have powers, they are generous with us. Coming from that experience, we assume that if we can appease the gods, they will be generous with us. What we do not know is what makes a god happy. We truly do not know. And we try to go to different temples, we try to do different pujas, we try to do different uh, try to go to different people who are connected to God, so-called pandits or gurus or holy men or whatever name you want to give them, astrologers, and like kuch kara do, so that I come first in the exam, or I get selected, or I pass the exam, or whatever it is that we want. But if this was the really the key to success, then all of us would pass the exam, all of us will get selected, all of us will have what we want, but it is not the reality of life. So that means that system doesn't work. And it is just like a lottery. People buy lottery tickets, a few prizes they get, and we look at them, okay, unko mila, they got it, they got it, they got it. I must go and buy another lottery ticket. And this thing continues, which means I keep going back to temple, keep going back to church, I keep praying, I keep going and appeasing the gods. That's all we are doing.
It is also said that God has given almost everything to humans except peace. Because had peace been given to the common people, they would have never gone back to the God. So, what would be your take on this?
I told you that when I came to God, not I came, sorry, when God came to me, no one can really go to God, no one can connect with God on their own. Okay. Even Shiva cannot connect with God, even the king cannot connect with God, even Durga cannot connect with God. If they have to connect with God, they have to come to me. Nowadays they don't come. So anyway, when God came to me and we started this work, I was not interested in the agenda of the work, God. Agenda of God was that my children should go back home. And who is God's children? The souls. But what have I got to do with the souls? I am a human. I am least interested in the souls going back home, even though my soul is one of the souls. But I don't know my soul. So why should I be interested in God's agenda? My agenda is this. What will you do for the humans? We are suffering badly. So that's like the trade-off. So God finally said, okay, I'll give you a few things. You give this to the humans and you work for me. So 8 years I worked for God, and for 8 years God gave me what we call as the protocols. And with the protocols to whomsoever I gave, they did get relief. And why is it that this suffering is so much? Because there is a need for this suffering. I told you God wants something from you. And what God's want is that humans should suffer. Get this very clearly. What God wants is humans should suffer, and they ensure that humans continue to suffer. No, there is no way you can escape suffering. God is not saying I am going to 100% relieve you from suffering, but I will bring down your suffering. So that is now the work that I am doing. And the access to that is the book that I have written, not the content of the book. That's interesting in a way, but the whole book itself. That book delivers. It's a book that is alive. So that's why that is the answer to why there is so much of suffering, because God wants humans to suffer.
Why is it that? Because let them come back to me and
No, it is because God cursed the king that you have to eat the grime of the humans, and you have to ensure that humans procreate more than they die. To curse on the king. Why all that is a big story? You can read it in the book. And because of that curse, the king has to ensure humans suffer, otherwise the king is going to starve. That is the reason why we have to suffer. People ask me, what is the meaning and purpose of life? I tell them nothing. There is no meaning, there is no purpose. Forget about it. You can create your own meaning and you can create your own purpose. In the end, you will die. Your only purpose is you continue to suffer and create food for God. So-called God, not God. Your God.
so now your purpose in life is to minimize or marginalize or mitigate those.
My purpose is now, you see, I have now come to a place where whether people come to God or don't come, whether people choose God or they don't choose, it doesn't matter. Humans are now going to die in next 50 to 100 years. There will be other humans, but these humans will be non-souled humans. These non-souled humans will be known as aliens. And because they will be aliens, they will not be interested in religion, they will not be interested in spirituality. And because now all the souls are going back home, King has no interest to continue with religion and spirituality within next 100 years. So even the king has no interest, the humans will not have any interest, both are going to go down the drain. A new religion will come up, which is not this religion. That will be a religion based on pleasure. That will be a religion based on technology. A religion based on extra, what I would call it, terrestrial space exploration. That will be the new religion that will come in, not the ones we have today.
Why is it that God has allowed the king and the other forms of gods to survive for so many years?
The king wanted to the king wanted to keep on doing things against the will of God. And then God said that if you want to do things against my will, then you have to leave my home. And so the king was pushed out along with the 21 universes, along with his wife, along with all the souls who wanted to be in the king. And then God said, go and do now whatever you want to do. So this planet called Earth was not created through the Big Bang which the scientists are speculating. It was already created by God. The only thing that was not there was the stars had not been created. This was created by the king. The whole solar system and the galaxies and the universes, the way he wants, he created, and he kind of created the laws, he created the coherence, he created the movements, all these things the king did through his will, through his intent. But planets all were created by God in God's domain, and everything was pushed out along with the king. That is why God is allowing, go and do whatever you want to do, but not in my home.
Now he wants his children to come back to.
He only wants his children to come back. He is not interested in the king. He is not interested in what is happening in this universe. Least interest.
So we often get to hear about the fights between what we call Shur and Ashur. So there is something beyond that also. It's not that Ashur who the Shuras are fighting with.
Yes, this is beyond, because when you talk about the Suras and Asuras, which is about Devtas and the lower world, the demonic and satanic world, they're truly not demonic and satanic. They're just beings with different polarities in the other world. It is just that when one became two, which means when Kal became Kal and Kal Bhairav, a part of them said, I will be following Kal. Another part said, or another group of beings said, I will be following Bhairav. They went into the lower world and the other ones went into the upper worlds. But for whatever reason, the lower worlds were more ambitious than the upper worlds. Because they were more ambitious, they wanted sometimes to go into the upper world and grab their stuff or create nuisance in their life. That is the fight between the lower and the upper worlds, which is depicted in our so-called scriptures.
When you talk, or maybe when I get to hear you, or God wants to communicate some messages through you, it immediately sparks up a kind of churning in the mind. And through churning only you get either poison or amrita, nectar, as you may call it. So, do you think that this kind of chanting is actually, or in a way, good, because you get both poison and nectar? It's up to you which one you will opt for.
You see, this concept of churning, creating poison and nectar basically comes from the world that got separated from God. It did not happen in the world of God, because in the world of God there is no churning, there is no poison, and there is no nectar in the way we know. So all that is there is, everything is very much balanced and in coherence. But in the world of Kal, everything is in a state of unbalance. Why it is in a state of unbalance? For one simple reason. If he creates balance, there will be no suffering. If there is no suffering, there will be no food. For that reason, he had to ensure that there is no balance.
Being not in equilibrium or balance, in a way, is good. We should actually try and move towards a situation which is not balanced, not in equilibrium. Or, I mean, what is your views on that?
You use the word, it is good. You said that being in the churning is good.
Yeah, I asked you.
Being in the churning is not like good or bad. It just creates in the humans. Because constantly the human is pushed into some kind of pain. And that is what Kal wants.
Good for him.
It is good for him. It's not good for the humans.
But the whole idea of ascending is to reach a situation which is in total equilibrium.
That is what the humans are trying. What they are trying is somehow to escape this suffering. What the humans do not understand is why there is suffering. Number one. And what the humans do not understand is what creates the suffering. People assume that I have a free will, and people assume that I can do what I want to do. These are the two assumptions that humans have. And because I have a free will, I can decide that I am going to do sadhana, or I am going not to become angry. These are the decisions people make. But none of them they can do, because they have not yet discerned the non-physical world. So in the non-physical world, the first thing to understand is there is something called guardian angels. And these guardian angels are picked from the ancestral world, who has a complete understanding of the human journey. The guardian spirit, the spirit is told, give them energy, take away their energy when they don't need the energy. Again, the script should be followed. And then there are the archons, then there are the demi-ages. And then it's a whole lot of things. And then once you know all these things, the question that comes up is, are we a puppet? And the answer is yes, you are only a puppet, that the forces are playing you with you.
There is no way we can come out of it either.
You can come out if it is written in your storyline. You see, I mentioned about many people in our world today. Eckhart Tolle, a very famous personality, he was becoming mad, and suddenly one day he became enlightened. What did he do? Nothing. He today teaches many things that humans can do. That is a different thing, because unless you give them something, humans will not be attracted to you. If he starts telling, listen, I didn't do anything, I just became enlightened. He does say so, but there is no way you can become enlightened. There is a way you can become enlightened like me if you do this, this, this. But he didn't become like that. And there are many like him, Byron Katie, Tony Person, our own Ramana. Ramana didn't do anything. He became enlightened. Others tried to do what Ramana did. They sat down, they lied down, thinking, what is beyond death? Who am I? No one became Ramana. Then why Ramana became Ramana? Because these are not the teachings that are available. What makes you enlightened? What makes you spiritual? What makes Shiva a Shiva? So that's why these things are there, which kind of keeps the humans into a utopian dream that one day I will become free.
If the storyline cannot be changed at all, then all these efforts that humans do, in a way, is in futility. I mean, they have got no meaning whatsoever.
The human cannot change the storyline either by his will or by his effort. But it is said that you can put a dent in the storyline by becoming very unreasonable.
So who rescued God? Who rescued God? Who rescued God?
Who?
Rescue. R-E-S-C-U-E. Rescue.
Who rescued God?
God. Because you are saying there is no God, but God is in industry.
God is the industry.
Lot of people want to do business out of God. The so-called God-man and others, they create an industry out of that.
Yeah, but
so-called concept.
Okay, God is the industry, I understand. But what was the question you asked? Who rescued God? I don't understand the question, because we were having one conversation. Is it within the context of that or different from that?
Little bit different.
Little bit different. Okay, then I drop that. I try to now. I can engage with him. Okay. Can you say little more about the questions that you?
Who created God? Who created human?
Who created God?
Who created human?
Created humans. I can understand. We can give the mic. Actually, the people in the back can listen. Yeah. So you asked who created the humans and who created God. But I told you there are 4 gods. Now, which God are you referring to?
Why is 4 God?
Why is 4 gods? But are you clear now about the 4 gods?
To say, but I am not clear.
You are not clear? You want me to repeat again? Because without that, your question cannot be answered. I need to know which one you are talking about. So you want me to repeat?
Can you give me a chance? I'm talking to you in Bengali, the language where there's problem. I can explain. যেটা হচ্ছে যে ভগবান এবং মানুষ নানা জায়গা থেকে নানাভাবে ভগবানকে বিস্তার করা গেছে। কেউ বলেছে যে দুর্বল মানুষের সৃষ্টি ভগবান, তার পেছনে যুক্তি আছে। আপনি বলছেন যে ভগবান নানা সমস্যার জন্ম দিচ্ছে, ঠিক বলেছি? বা সমস্যার জন্ম দিয়ে থাকে যাতে মানুষ তাকে চিন্তা করে। আমি কি ঠিক বলছি? না প্রবলেম বা
Can you tell me that in English?
What he's asking is, as you said, that it's the God who creates problems and sufferings in humans. So why is it that God creates? Because the God wants human being to stay attached to God or come back to God.
Is that what you are asking?
Okay.
Okay. So you are asking me why God created suffering, why God gave suffering to the humans? Is that your question?
One question: who created God?
Who created God?
Created God.
Then let me briefly again go through the 4 gods and then I'll ask you.
Actually, I think if I got him rightly, he wants to know who created the other 3 forms of God, not the real supreme God.
Who created the supreme God? I don't know. God says that no one created me. I am the one that has always been. So there is no question of that creation. But
The 3 other.
yeah, but the other 3 gods that I know who created. First thing I said, the other 3 gods are not gods. One is the Son of God, who is the king of this universe. Other side, then there is the children of God, who are the souls, which is the 3rd God. And the Son of God procreated other gods or created other gods, multiple of them, who became the 4th God, whom we call the Devtas. Now these 4 gods. So now I told you who created. Does that answer your question? I said very briefly, but did it answer your question? You have another question. Let him complete and then I'll give you.
Okay, I'm not telling at present. There is a lot of thoughts as well. এই ভগবান ভগবান ব্রহ্মা ব্রহ্ম এসব অনেক কিছু ব্যাপার নিয়ে হিন্দু ব্যাপারটা জড়িয়ে আছে, তার সঙ্গে আবার মানে অনেক কিছু ব্যাপার নিয়ে এর সঙ্গে অনেক জোড়াতাড়ি দিয়ে একটা ধর্ম একটা কনসেপ্ট দেওয়া আছে সেখানে। তার সঙ্গে অনেক কিছু জড়িয়েও আছে, দেবতাকে সঙ্গে নিয়ে একটা ব্যবসাও চলেছে মানুষের, সব কিছু নিয়ে একটা। আবার এই বিষয়ে আপনাকে কিছু ফাইনাল বলছে, দেবতা ছাড়াও তুমি চলতে পারো। নাস্তিকতার কাছে গিয়ে সেখানে অজ্ঞানের জায়গায় গিয়ে দাঁড়াচ্ছে, তো নাস্তিক। কিন্তু একমাত্র কোনো জায়গায় নাস্তিককে মানে সম্মান দেন একমাত্র গীতা বলেছে, নাস্তিকের ভিতরে আমি আছি, শ্রীকৃষ্ণ বলে ফেললো। আর তো কোনো প্রশ্ন রইল না, সব কিছুর ভিতরে তিনি রয়েছেন, জ্ঞানেও আছেন অজ্ঞানেও আছেন, সবই আমি বিভূতি যুগেও সব কিছু বলেছে আমি আছি। তো এখন তার কোনো প্রশ্ন রইল না, ভগবান কিভাবে তৈরি হচ্ছে, অজ্ঞানের হচ্ছে ভগবান, জ্ঞানের হচ্ছে ভগবান। ভগবান ব্যাপারটার ভিতরে ভগবান আছে। আপনি এই যে ভগবান নেই বা ভগবান ব্যাপার নিয়ে বলছেন, এটা কি আপনার আপনি নিজের প্রচারের জন্য যে একটা একটা অন্য ধরনের চিন্তা ধারণা লোকের ভেতরকে আমি দিয়ে আমি নিজের কাছে প্রচারিত হতে চাইছি, এটা কি আপনার কাজ? না আপনি ভগবানের ব্যাপারে সত্যিকারে বলুন যে ভগবানকে আপনি কথা বলেছেন বা দেখেছেন, ভগবান কি এত সহজ সরল?
ভগবান একদম সহজ সরল। God is very simple and ordinary, and everything not God, which is very divine, which is very holy, is very magnificent.
তাহলে একটা কথা বলি, দুর্বল লোক কেন ভগবানকে সাধনা করতে, সবল লোকের কেন ভগবানকে করুণা করে? একটা মন্দির করে দিলাম, মসজিদ করে দিলাম, এটা তো সবল লোকরা করছে। দুর্বল লোকের সাথে বলছে ভগবান তুমি রাখো, ভগবানের পায়ের জল খাচ্ছে, মানে যাই হোক, যেটা যদিও সেটা ধর্মের ভেতরে পড়ছে। আমার তো মনে হচ্ছে ভগবান বোধটা হচ্ছে একটা বিজনেস, যেটা মানুষের ভেতরে ঢুকিয়ে দেওয়া হয় জন্ম থেকে। কারণ একটা ভগবান যদি তৈরি করা হয়, দোষেও দেশে আছে, ভালোতেও আছে, মন্দেতেও আছে।
আপনার যে বিশ্বাস সেটাকে তো আমি ভাঙবো না।
বিশ্বাস বলে কিছুই নেই, সেই যে কনফিউজ, তাই জন্য তো আপনার কাছে এসেছি।
আপনি যদি প্রশ্ন করেন তো আমি উত্তর দেব।
প্রশ্ন ব্যাপারটা কি, মানে আপনি কেন এই কথাটা বলতে, এটা কি কেউ জানতো না? যেটা
আমি যেটা বলছি সেটা কি কেউ জানতো না, এটা জিজ্ঞেস করছেন?
না, আপনি যেটা বলছেন সেটা তো সব দিক দেখে তৈরি হয়ে এসেছে। আপনার কাছে তো কেউ দেবতা এসে দেখা করেনি, বলছেন না আপনি?
আপনি কি করে জানেন দেখা করেনি?
দেখা করে তো বলতো যে বিজনেসটা ভালোই চলুক, সেটা দেখো। হ্যাঁ, দেখা করলে আপনাকে বলতো যে আমার বিজনেসটা ভালো চলুক, সেটা দেখো।
বাট আমি তো তার ক্যাম্পেন না।
তো আপনি ক্যাম্পেন না বলছেন, তার কিসের জন্য? ভগবান তো একটা লোককে, একজন লোককে
বাঁচিয়ে রেখেছে। যেমন ভাবে আপনি গরুকে বাঁচিয়ে রাখেন, যেমন ভাবে ভেড়াকে বাঁচিয়ে রাখেন।
আমি বাঁচাই, সে বাঁচে, তার প্রয়োজনে বাঁচে,
তার প্রয়োজনে সে বাঁচিয়ে রেখেছে।
স্যার আমি কিছু ভুল বলতে পারি, কিন্তু আমি বুঝতে পারছি না। আমি কিছু বুঝতে পারছি না, কারণ হচ্ছে এই কথাগুলো আমাকে টাচ করছে না, হার্টলি করে টাচ করছে না। আমি অনেক বোঝার চেষ্টা করছি। সরি,
টাচ করছে কিনা সেটা আমি জানি না। আমি প্রশ্নের উত্তর,
এটা আমার লিমিটেশন যে আমি আপনাকে স্পর্শ করতে পারছি।
আই আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড, বাট আমি আপনাকে টাচ করার জন্য এখানে আসিনি। আমাকে কতগুলো প্রশ্ন করা হচ্ছে, তার উত্তর দিতে আমি এসেছি।
ওকে, গোয়িং অন, আমার প্রশ্ন শেষ।
ওকে, এই ভদ্রলোক আগে বসে আছেন, ইনি মাইকটা চাইছেন।
Just wanted to understand storyline which we talked about. Whether the storyline is different for each and every individual or not.
Storyline is different from each individual. Okay. That is true.
Fine. So if we consider around 700 crores of people in this earth, that means 700 crores storyline has to be there.
Yes.
And then who controls that software?
Who controls it?
That storyline.
It is controlled by matrix.
That I'm asking, wanted to understand. Yep.
What is matrix?
Yeah.
Matrix is the
But it has to be a very supercomputer, otherwise it cannot be controlled that.
Yeah, it is a supercomputer.
Yeah.
It is a supercomputer. It is the ultimate computer, because ultimate computer is the mind and not machine. Yeah. And it is the mind of the king. So it is the king that controls that whole system of creation.
So how to see that storyline for each?
You cannot see.
Who can see? Only the
No one can see. The humans were not meant to see, because if you see, then you will break the hypnosis of the storyline.
So this message is that it can reduce the pain and suffering towards the walking towards the storyline, the end of the lie. Am I right?
No, the book just says, have the book in your life, talk to the book, whatever is giving you pain and suffering, and see what the book delivers to you.
How to reduce the pain and suffering?
What it delivers, look at it, explore it.
Can it be hopefully I think it can be visualized, it can be understandable, it can not, if I'm not wrong, it can be realized, right?
There's nothing you can realize. Okay. I have not realized anything.
Okay, is it?
Yeah, I have not realized. I know, but that doesn't mean I have realized. There's a difference between knowing and realizing. I can see.
Okay.
So I'm seeing this bottle
Okay.
having some water,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that I've realized it. It is a knowing. Realizing comes from coming to a conclusion.
Experience.
Experience. I have no experience of God. I have no experience of all this higher and lower. I have a direct communication and discernment to know who is what.
So I think it answers your queries, some of your queries, probably.
No, he just said he's not touched by my words, which is being very authentic. And that is true. And actually, I have not really come here to convert anybody. I have no interest in bringing anyone to my, because what does my book say? It clearly says, do not believe anything that is in the book. Do not try to accept what is in the book. Why does the book say so? Because the book says it is not within what you know. And if it is not within what you know, you cannot accept it. Instead, just feel the book and talk to the book about all your pain and see if you get some relief from your pain. The book is very clear.
At the beginning, you told that you are not bringing any ideology and all those things.
There is no, in the book also, there is no ideology, there is no morality, there is no ethics, there is no teachings, there is nothing.
At the beginning, you told that.
Yes. Thank
you.
you. Just take the mic, actually.
I think what he asked, there is no conflict as such with the gentleman. What he says is only the weaker people, they strive to somehow, or maybe they depend more on the God. They want some refuge. They want some.
You see, the reason God comes into our life is because we want something. Now, if you are capable of getting what you want, why would you want God in your life? And that is why only the weak will go to the God.
That's what you are also saying, actually.
And because the weak go to the God, there are another group of people who make a business out of the weak people. And then they say, come to this temple, come to this mosque, come to this religion, come to this guru, come to this gentleman, come to this one, and we will sort out all your issues. In return, I want you to pay 10% of your earning or an X amount of what you have or Y amount or whatever that be. And it is an industry. There is no doubt about it. And it is what we call as the demand supply mechanism. There's a demand in the market. People have identified the demand and they are now supplying you the solutions. And they want a cut out of your pocket. Very simple. And so they gave you a God. But originally the people who gave you God did not give you the God for that reason. People have used that material, that is a different thing. Originally when they gave you God, they gave you from a different perspective. They were truly hoping that one day you will realize. But unfortunately, these people who gave you God did not know who God is. They were made to believe what the king wanted them to believe. Because I come from beyond the king, I have seen through everything that king has given. I have seen through every scripture. I have seen through every books. I have seen through every religion. And I have seen through every spiritual practices. I know exactly which guru is where, now or past, because I have the access. Gayatri, the gentleman there,
Raise your hand.
that side.
So, one thing is that if you don't mind otherwise, I should say something statistical. There is 31% of women in India and 23% men in India have no access to literacy. They're illiterate as yet.
Have no access.
They're illiterate.
Illiterate.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Then how these people, there are some crores and crores of people, millions and millions of people who are illiterate, can't feel the pulse of the book, can't feel the godness of the book, as you say. So what is the solution on their part, who are as yet illiterate or unknowable of the books?
You know, this 10,000 books that we have sold and distributed in last 1.5 months, most of it went to the illiterates. And when they touched the book, they were the one who said, this is the thing that I wanted. Not because they could read the contents, but because in that touching they felt that here is something that will listen to them to whom they can talk with their heart, and this will give them what they truly want. It is the illiterate who take on to this book truly. The literate, they go inside and they say, this can't be. I have read the scriptures, I know all the philosophy, I know all theology, and this is all nonsense what is written inside.
Yeah.
And they can't get.
Thank you, sir. One thing more, that is, apropos of your line of thinking, our Bengali literature, literatarian, Mustafa Ali says, Bengalis, the Bengali people, worship books. They worship. I see. Worshipping the books is made by Bengalis. So, in that sense, your notion of studying book as a notion of God and Mustafa Ali's thinking of worshipping of books is more or less synonymous, or more or less nearly synonymous. Worship of books, worship.
I have not talked about worshipping the book. You know the Sikhs, they worship their book.
I don't mind.
Yes.
You don't? You don't know or you don't mind? Which one you said?
That's a different thing.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking. You know the Sikh community worship their book?
Yes.
You know that?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, fine. You don't know. They do that.
Yeah.
There are other communities who really worship their book. Even in the Hindus, they consider Gita to be holy. They revere that book. They worship. Many of them worship that book. You know about these things?
I know this.
Okay.
That all the religious people do think that their scriptures are as good as holy.
Yes. Now God says, this book, message from God, is not a holy book. It is not a divine book. It must not be worshipped.
Yeah.
It is a book of utility.
Yeah.
And respect the book, but don't revere the book. Respect God, but don't revere God. Respect God, but never worship God. Respect God, but have no faith in God. Respect God, but don't accept God. Choose God, but don't have blind faith on God. The line is very clear. Why does God say so? Because God says, you do not know me. You will never know me. So why should you respect, why should you revere me? Why should you worship me? And when my journey with God started, the first thing I told God is, I do not know who you are.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. And this line also coincides with the English, the British utilitarianism, utilitarian thought. You see, your thinking coincides more or less with utilitarian thinking of a British theory, British knowledge. And that I like very much. Utilitarianism.
What you call as utilitarianism, it's a very tongue-twisting word.
That is,
What you call, whatever that word is, it is a very practical word, okay? I am a very practical man. I am not a holy man.
upajogvad.
I'm a businessman basically. I'm no more in business, but I was in business. I have been in a land for 50 years who have been known as very good businessmen. I come from Gujarat. For 50 years I have been there. I was in business. Since 17 years old I am that. So I am a very practical man. I am not religious, I am not spiritual, and I am not interested in any of these things. So when God came to me, I said, listen, I am not going to rever you. You and me have a trade-off. You want something, I want something. I will work for you. In return, you will have to give me what I want. Have you ever heard of a man talking to God like that?
No. But I'm satisfied. I am satisfied now with your inner expression and articulation of the whole thing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any questions coming up? Otherwise, Ritik will continue.
I think another important thing which many of them must have noticed that what you offered in this book is very time-bound and tangible results, because there are many gurus, many rishis, muni rishis who says you go on doing this, then at some point of time maybe you will reach there. But here, I suppose you have spoken to him. He may not believe it. There are others who will believe it. You have actually spoken to the God, and during your conversation also, when you did that quid pro quo arrangement with God, you made it absolutely clear that I want results immediately and in a tangible manner. Maybe what this gentleman said, utilitarian or upajogita, as you mentioned, a upajogita or a utility, this is also very important, because
it is very important. I am not interested in any kind of theosophy, philosophy. Okay? I have a need. Humans have a need, not I don't have any needs. Humans have a need. Give us something.
And that needs to be fulfilled in a stipulated period of time.
Exactly. I have to see in 1.5 months I have studied the effect of the book on the humans. I have taken the feedback of the humans. And from there now I have a conviction this book needs to go out into humanity. Not because of what is inside the book. Well, you can read what is inside the book. That's intellectual stuff and you are not going to agree with it. Because if I tell you, I talk with God, I'd be kind of labeled as someone who needs a psychiatric treatment. This guy is hallucinating. This guy is deluded in his life. That's what you will think. Who in their rational mind would accept that a human talks with God? But look into the message, into the contents of the book. No human can bring that, what is written in the book, through their own imagination or through their thinking or through their contemplation. It's beyond. And what is the industry I'm running? I'm using my own savings to really print these books and take it out to people. How many books am I selling? The book costs 200 rupees. Most of the time I am selling for 100 rupees. In the bookshops I sell for 200 rupees. And many of the books, more than half of the books have gone away free. We just told to people, take it and see it and give us a feedback. Where I'm losing money every day. But the point is, I don't care for money. And I have some money, so if it goes away, what difference it makes to me? As such, I am 67, I have completed. I don't know how long I am going to be here. What will that money do? But this book goes out and it brings something. Tangible results I have seen. And I am a man who likes tangible results. Real time, fast, simple, quick. absolutely clear directives to God. God gave me directives, I gave directives to God. I tell you, no human has that courage. I also tell you about your gods. You will be surprised to hear all these things that I'm talking about. Shiva came and took the mantra that we give to the humans. This guy couldn't practice the mantra. He was so scared of the king. Durga came and took the mantra. That lady couldn't practice the mantra. Then she is so scared of the king. And here I was, as a human, who stood against him and demolished all his plans. It took me 8 years, but I demolished everything. And the job of sending the souls back home was done. How could I do it? Because I wanted nothing. And only a man, he couldn't understand. He couldn't figure out how come a man doesn't want anything. So who is greater, Shiva, Durga, or this human who stands right in front of that king and says, I will be with God and do the work of God? He could have killed me, but God wouldn't allow him to kill me. He created all kind of nuisance. That's another thing. So, but then I won't be believed, and that's perfectly all right.
Because you're making distinctions between different kind of God, that's how I think the confusion arises. Because loosely people say God, but there are 4 forms of God who are actually not gods. And only the number one supreme God is the God, but we loosely call all of them God. So the whole confusion comes from that.
Yes, this confusion comes up from because you do not have a clarity of what is God. You never questioned that. When it becomes very clear who is God and who is not God, then the next question that comes up, why these humans are here? How do they serve the God? We are not here because we wanted to be here. We are here because the gods wanted us to be here. Did they send us really to do sadhana? Did they send us really to go to the temples? Did they send us really to become educated? Did they send us really to become holy and pious? Unless you know these things, you will not understand. You see, the book that I am giving you, it was delivered over 3 days from morning 9 o'clock to evening 6 o'clock. And there was a huge amount of information I used to give, which of course I have now deleted everything, just put the basic in the book. Because all those informations are no more needed. The book is like, okay, go and just touch it, feel it, talk to it, the end. Don't even open the book. The book will deliver.
Are you shifted from our Mandaleshwar Maharaj? The Maharaj Mandaleshwar Maharaj is present here. He will be seated with our Pradip Mukherji. He will be standing our Sangha.
If I am not able to understand, I will ask someone to translate. Is it okay? Even though my name is what it is, yet Bengali is not my. Yes, so nice.
Can I, sir? Can I just introduce Swamiji quickly?
Please do.
Like God, there are different forms of Mukherjis also. Some Mukherjis understand Bengali, some Mukherjis do not understand Bengali, and some Mukherjis understand little bit of Bengali.
Sweet. Thank you. So we are very grateful to Dr. Samir Chandra Das. He is the Systems Manager, University of Kolkata, also Professor of Nano Engineering, and he has multiple degrees. The sir is here on the left. He's PhD in Engineering, M.Tech, BE, MBA, MPhil, and Science, and LLM. For us, it's abbreviation, but we can't even imagine the study he must have done and the knowledge he has. Thank you so much, sir, for coming this evening. And especially, we are grateful that you invited Swamiji to this event. Thank you. Here is Mr. Swamiji Mahamandaleshwar Srimad Swami Paramatma Nandaji Maharaj. He's from Sri Panchayat Akhara, and he's the one and only Mahamandaleshwar in the entire of West Bengal. And we're very grateful, sir, for joining us in this evening where we are discussing about God. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivani.
ओम आनंदाद्यभ्यो खल्लिमानि भूतानि जायन्ते तत्प्रयन्तु भीषं विशन्ति तद्विजिज्ञासस्व तद्ब्रह्मेति। ভাষাগত দূরত্বের কারণে খানিকটা বোঝা গেল, খানিকটা বোঝা গেল না। তবে কম্প্রিহেনশন বলে তো একটা বিষয় আমাদের ছোটবেলায় পড়ানো হতো। সমস্তটা শুনে যা মনে হলো তাতে আমি ছোট্ট করে বলি, শাস্ত্র বলছেন অন্ধেন নিয়মানা যথান্ধ্যা। ঈশ্বর তত্ত্ব, ভগবান তত্ত্ব, তার বক্তা দুর্লভ, শ্রোতাও দুর্লভ, কিন্তু সেই বক্তব্য শুনতে হবে, আলোচনা করতে হবে এমন জায়গা থেকে যিনি হচ্ছেন স্বামীজির কথায় রিয়েলাইজড সোল, যিনি উপলব্ধি করেছেন রসগোল্লা কেমন মিষ্টি। এটা জানার নাম হচ্ছে তথ্য এবং তত্ত্বগতভাবে জানা। আর রসগোল্লাটা যার মুখে ঢুকিয়ে দেওয়া হয়েছে, যে বেশ চিবুচ্ছে আর তার রস আস্বাদন করছে, সেইভাবে যে রসগোল্লাকে জানছে, সেইটি জানার নাম হচ্ছে রসস্বরূপ ভগবানকে নিজের মধ্যে পাওয়া, নিজে ভগবৎ স্বরূপ হয়ে যাওয়া। ধর্মের মূল লক্ষণ কি? আমাদের চারটি বেদের চারটি মহাবাক্য আছে। অয়মাত্মা ব্রহ্ম, প্রজ্ঞানম ব্রহ্ম, ব্রহ্মাস্মি সোহম। তার মানে কি? তার মানে আমি সেই ব্রহ্ম। কোন আমি? সব আমি ব্রহ্ম নয়। শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণদেব তার কথামৃত গ্রন্থে বলছেন যে দেখো, সব জলই জল, কিন্তু শৌচের জল খাওয়া যায় না। ঠিক তেমনি সব জ্ঞান জ্ঞান হতে পারে, কিন্তু সব জ্ঞান লওয়া যায় না। ভগবত সম্পর্কে সিদ্ধান্ত বাক্য কেবল ভগবত তত্ত্ববেত্তারাই দেবেন। যে ভগবত তত্ত্ববেত্তা নয়, তার ভগবান বিষয়ক আলোচনা কেমন? ঠাকুর খুব সুন্দর করে বোঝালেন, অন্ধের হস্তি দর্শনের মতো। কতগুলি অন্ধ একটা হাতি দেখতে গেছে, দেখা হয়ে গেছে। অন্ধ কেমন করে দেখে? হাত বুলিয়ে। তা দেখা হবার পর বাইরে এসেছে, তখন একজন আরেকজনকে বলছে, ভাই কেমন হাতি দেখলি? বলে, দারুণ, কুলোর মতো। তখন যে জিজ্ঞেস করেছিল বলছে, দূর,
তুই সত্যি কানা, হাতি তো লম্বা থামের মতো। আর একজন বলল, না না তোরা একেবারে অন্ধ, হাতি তো বিশাল ড্রামের মতো। এমনি করে পরস্পরের মধ্যে মারামারি লেগে গেল। প্রত্যেকেই হাতি দেখেছে, প্রত্যেকে ফিল করেছে, প্রত্যেকে উপস্থাপিত করছে এবং প্রত্যেকে সত্যি কথা বলছে। ওই দলের মধ্যে ছিল একজন চক্ষুষ্মান। সে কি বলছে, দেখো তোমরা মারামারি করো না, হাতি কুলোর মতোও বটে, থামের মতোও বটে, লম্বা নলের মতোও বটে, গোল ড্রামের মতোও বটে, আবার সব মিলিয়েও বটে। ঈশ্বর তত্ত্ব অত সহজ বস্তু নয়। আশ্চর্য বক্তা কুশলস্য লব্ধ্যা, শাস্ত্র বলেছেন। এর বক্তা যেমন আশ্চর্য সহজে পাওয়া যায় না, শ্রোতাও তেমনি সহজে পাওয়া যায় না। শ্রবণ মনন নিদিধ্যাসন শুনতে হবে। যা আমরা এখানে শুনছি, আমার বাবা কি সুন্দর করে তত্ত্ব বিষয়ক আলোচনা করছেন, তারপর তাকে মনন করতে হবে। মনন মানে ভাবতে হবে তাকে নিয়ে। ভাবতে ভাবতে সূত্র আসবে, তখন সেই সত্যে আমরা প্রতিষ্ঠিত হব। সেই সূত্র কি? প্রজ্ঞানম ব্রহ্ম। ভগবান শিবও নয়, কালীও নয়, দুর্গাও নয়, লক্ষ্মী সরস্বতী এরা নয়। প্রজ্ঞাই হচ্ছে ভগবান। প্রজ্ঞা স্বরূপকে উপলব্ধি করাই ভগবৎ স্বরূপকে উপলব্ধি করা। এরা দেবতা। দেবতাদের থেকে, দেবতা মানে কি? দীপ ধাতু। দীপ মানে প্রকাশমান, যারা প্রকাশিত হচ্ছেন। সেই প্রকাশকে আমরা অঙ্গীকার করতে চাই আমাদের জীবনের মধ্যে। ভগবান কোনো ইন্ডাস্ট্রি হতে পারে না, ভগবান কোনো ব্যবসার মাধ্যম হতে পারে না। আমি ভগবান, অয়মাত্মা ব্রহ্ম। কিন্তু আমি ভগবান কখন? যখন আমি রিয়ালাইজড, আমি যখন সেই বোধিকে লাভ করেছি। আর বোধি লাভের পথে অন্তরায় কি? অন্তরায় হচ্ছে আমাদের দুঃখ, আমাদের যন্ত্রণা। খালি পেটে স্বামীজি বলছেন ধর্ম হয় না। এখন যদি এই বাবা আমাদের 4 ঘন্টা লেকচার দেয় আর কিচ্ছু খেতে না দেয়, তাহলে যাবার সময় সবাই ঢিল মেরে দিয়ে চলে যাবে। তাহলে কিছু মাঝে মাঝে খেতে যদি দিতে হবে, তবে কি হবে? আমরা সতেজ থাকব। কিন্তু মনে রাখতে হবে, এই শারীরিক যা চাহিদা, জাগতিক যা চাহিদা, এই শারীরিক এবং জাগতিক চাহিদার ঊর্ধ্বে একটা পরা জগৎ আছে। সে জগৎ সত্য। আমি এই বোতল এবং জল দেখতে পাচ্ছি, কিন্তু আমার দেখাটাই সত্য দেখা নয়। আমি যখন ট্রেনে উঠে দমদম থেকে দক্ষিণেশ্বর যাচ্ছি, তখন আমি কি দেখতে পাচ্ছি? ল্যাম্পপোস্টগুলো, গাছগুলো, বাড়িঘরগুলো সব উল্টো দিকে দৌড়ে পালিয়ে যাচ্ছে। সত্যি সত্যি ওরা দৌড়চ্ছে কি? দৌড়চ্ছে না। তাহলে সত্যের দুটো চেহারা আছে, একটি প্রতিভাসিক আর একটা অন্তর্নিহিত, যা দেখা যায়, দেখলেই তাকে বিশ্বাস করবার কোনো কারণ নেই। আমরা কত মানুষকে দেখছি কত রকম ভালো সেজে আছে, কিন্তু যত গন্ডগোল এই ভালো সাজা মানুষগুলো করেছে। মা সীতাকে অপহরণ করেছিল কি সেজে? সাধু সেজে। তাহলে সাজটা দেখলেই হবে না, দেখতে হবে তার উপলব্ধি, তার পর্যাপ্তি, সে কোন স্তরে উঠেছে। আমি সেইখানে আমার সময় দেব, যে সময়ের বিনিময়ে আমি অন্তরে শান্তি পাব। তাই শাস্ত্র বলেছে, আনন্দাধ্যেভ্য কল্লিমানি ভূতানি জায়ন্তে। এই যে এত বিরাট বিশ্ব, এই আনন্দের থেকে সৃষ্টি হয়েছে। ভগবান কৃপা করে, অনুগ্রহ করে এই জগৎ সৃষ্টি করেননি। একমেব বহুশ্যাম প্রজায়। ভগবান দেখলেন আমি একা। একা থাকলে কি কারোর আনন্দ হয়? হয় না। অনেক পয়সা আছে, কিন্তু সে একা। সে পয়সাটা খরচ করবে কাকে নিয়ে? কিভাবে একা একা টাকা চিবিয়ে খেলেও আনন্দ হবে না। তখন কি দরকার? ভগবান বললেন একমেব বহুশ্যাম প্রজায়, আমি বহু হব। এই বহুত্বের ধারণা থেকে জগৎ ব্যাকৃত হলো, গুণ যুক্ত হলো তার মধ্যে। কিন্তু ভগবান ত্রিগুণাতীত, সত্য রজ তম, এই 3 গুণ যুক্ত হলো। মায়ার দ্বারা তিনি আবৃত হলেন। এই মায়া কি? মায়া আবরণ। আর আবরণ আছে বলে আমরা তাকে দেখতে পাচ্ছি না। রাত দুপুরে চণ্ডী মণ্ডপে এক গেঁজেল বসে আছে, আড্ডা মারছিল, সবাই বাড়ি চলে গেছে, সে যায়নি। মাঝ রাতে তার গাঁজার নেশা উঠেছে। সে ভাবছে একটু যদি শীতের রাত আগুন পেতুম, তাহলে অ্যাকচুয়ালি গাঁজার টেনে নিতুম, বেশ ভালো হতো, দম লাগাতুম। সে সঙ্গে সঙ্গে লণ্ঠনটা নিয়ে তার পাশেই বন্ধুর বাড়ি, সেখানে গিয়ে ডাকছে, ও ভাই ঘুমিয়ে পড়লে নাকি, একটু দরজাটা খোলো। সে দরজা খুলেছে, হ্যাঁ কি ব্যাপার এত রাত্রে, তুই বাড়ি যাসনি? বলে না ভাই, আজ আর বাড়ি যায়নি, এই বউয়ের সাথে একটু খটোমটো হয়েছে, আজ রাত্রির এখানেই কাটিয়ে দেবো, কাল বউ এসে সসম্মানে নিয়ে যাবে। তবে একটু দেন, আরে আগুন। বলে কি করবি? একটু টানবো, রাত্রিরে একদম জমে যাচ্ছি। বলে এ বাবা, তুই আগুন চাইতে আমার কাছে এসেছিস, তোর মধ্যেই তো আগুন। বলে কোথায়? বলে ওই দেখ লন্ডনটা খুলে, ওইখানেই তো আগুন। তুই ওই আগুন থাকতে আমার কাছে অব্দি এসে আমার ঘুম ভাঙালি। এ হচ্ছে গুরু, যে চিনিয়ে দিল, যে দেখিয়ে দিল তুমি ব্রহ্ম, তুমি ভগবান। তাই সনাতন ধর্ম গুরুবাদে বিশ্বাস করে। গুরু পুচ্ছিয়া জানা, চর্যাপদ বলছে। ও তুমি বুঝতে পারছো না, তুমি গুরুকে জিজ্ঞেস করো। ওই চর্যাপদের মধ্যে আবার বিপরীত ভাব আছে, বলছে যাহের চিহ্ন রূপ না জানি, তাহে कैसे বেদ বখানি। আরে যার রূপ নেই, চিহ্ন নেই, যিনি ত্রিগুণের অতীত, তুমি কেমন করে তুমি তাকে ব্যাখ্যা করছো বেদে? অতএব বেদ হোক, বেদান্ত হোক, দেখো সাধুর কথার কত ক্ষমতা, বলবার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে চা সিঙ্গারা। আর এরা যতক্ষণ বকছিল ততক্ষণ কিন্তু আসেনি, এটা মনে রাখতে হবে। না দেখিনি, কিন্তু উসখুস করছিলাম। তাহলে আমরা যা বলছিলাম, যে যার রূপ নেই, চিহ্ন নেই, বেদ কি করে তাকে ব্যাখ্যা করলো, কি ভাবে তাকে বললো? শাস্ত্রে তার উপর আছে। এই চর্যাপদ তো বৌদ্ধদের গ্রন্থ। আমাদের সনাতন শাস্ত্র বলছে যে যারা প্রজ্ঞাবান ঋষি, ঋষি কারা? শুধু জটা, শ্মশ্রু কি ন্যাড়া মাথা, গেরুয়া কাপড়, এরাই ঋষি নয়। ঋষি হচ্ছেন যারা সুদূরকে দেখতে পাচ্ছেন, যারা সত্যকে দেখতে পেয়েছেন, সত্যে প্রতিষ্ঠিত হয়েছে। তাই ভগবত তত্ত্ব অত্যন্ত দুরাবগাহ। একমাত্র সাধন দ্বারা সাধ্য বস্তু লাভ করতে হয়। সাধন বিনা সাধ্য বস্তু কভু না মিলয়, চৈতন্য চরিতামৃতে বলা হলো। সাধন করতে হবে। সাধন করনা চাহিরে মনুয়া, ভজন করনা চাহিরে, আর প্রেম লাগানা চাহিরে মনুয়া, প্রীত লাগানা চাহিরে। বলছে দেখো, ভগবান প্রতীকগুলো ভগবান নয়, আমরা তাই মনে করি। তাই মন্দিরের বিরুদ্ধে বিদ্রোহ করি, মসজিদের বিরুদ্ধে বিদ্রোহ করি, চার্চের বিরুদ্ধে বিদ্রোহ করি। না, ওগুলো প্রতীক, ভগবানের প্রতীক। ষষ্ঠী তৎপুরুষ, ভগবানের চিহ্ন ওগুলো। ভগবান কি? ভগবান হচ্ছে প্রতীয়মান যে চৈতন্য, তিনি হচ্ছেন ভগবান। যে চৈতন্য তোমার ভেতরেও আছে, সেখানেও আছে। বলে তাহলে আমার মন্দিরে যাওয়ার দরকার কি? আমি যদি ভগবান হই তাহলে আমি মন্দিরে যাব কেন? ঠাকুর খুব সুন্দর করে উত্তর দিলেন, দেখো মন্দিরে হাজার হাজার বছর ধরে মানুষ আসে, এসে সে কি করে? সে ভগবৎ স্বরূপ ধ্যান করে, ভগবৎ স্বরূপ চিন্তন করে, তাকে সে পাবার চেষ্টা করে। এই করতে করতে মন্দিরের ভেতরে একটা সৎ প্রবাহ জমজমাট হয়ে গেছে, শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণের ভাষা। অর্থাৎ ওইখানে গেলে, ওই এনভায়রনমেন্টে গেলে আমাদের মনে সদ্ভাবনা জাগ্রত হয়। হাসপাতালে গেলে আমাদের কি মনে হয়? একটু প্রেশারটা মেপে নিই, একটু রক্তে দেখি সুগারটা বাড়লো কিনা, বুকটা কেমন ধরপড় করছে, দেখি তো এটা টেস্ট করে ঠিক আছে কিনা হার্ট, ওখানে ওই ভাব। আবার তুমি যখন মাছের বাজারে যাবে তখন তুমি কি ভাববে? তখন ভাববে আজকে ইলিশ মাছ কত টাকা কিলো, কালকে তো ওই তো ছিল, অমুক বাজারে তমুক, এই তেলাপিয়ার মাছের দাম কত, এটা ভাববে। অর্থাৎ পরিবেশ আমাদের ভাবনাকে নিয়ন্ত্রণ করে। আর এই ভাবনা হয় কিসের দ্বারা? মনের দ্বারা। মন হচ্ছে ইন্দ্রিয়গুলোর মধ্যে শ্রেষ্ঠ। সেই মনকে যিনি কন্ট্রোল করেন তিনি হচ্ছেন মহাশক্তি। ইন্দ্রিয়ানাম অধিষ্ঠাত্রী ভূতানাঞ্চাখিলেষু ইয়া ভূতেষু সততং তস্मै ব্যাপ্তি দেব্যৈ নমো নমঃ। তাহলে কি আমার মা, আমার মহাশক্তি, আমার ভগবান কেবলমাত্র প্যান্ডেলের ঠাকুর হলো, একটা মূর্তি হলো, নাকি সেই চরম এবং পরম উপলব্ধি হলো? সেই উপলব্ধির কথা আমরা গুরু মুখে শুনি। শুনলে লাভ কি? শেরপাকে নিয়ে পাহাড়ে উঠলে অনেক সহজে পাহাড়ে উঠা যায়, কেন সে তো পাহাড়ে বারবার উঠেছে, ওটা তার কাজ। আমাদের ধর্ম তত্ত্ব বলাটা আমাদের কাজ, আমরা সেই তত্ত্ব বলছি, সেই জন্য সেই কথা শুনতে হয়। না শুনলে কি হয়, এমনিতে আমাদের মাথা মায়ার দ্বারা আচ্ছন্ন হয়ে রয়েছে, আরো মাথা গুলিয়ে যাবে। কিন্তু জগতে মনে করে জানবে সমস্তটা ঈশ্বরের প্রকাশ, তার প্রকাশের বাইরে কিচ্ছু নেই। ঈশা ভাষ্যমিদং সর্বম যৎকিঞ্চ ইয়াগত্যাম জগৎ তেন তক্তেন ভুঞ্জিতা মা গৃধো কস্য সিদ্ধনম। ঈশোপনিষদ প্রথম শ্লোক, রবীন্দ্রনাথের অত্যন্ত প্রিয় শ্লোক ছিল। বলছে কি, যা কিছু দেখছো সব ঈশ্বরের দ্বারা আচ্ছাদনীয়, এমনকি এই টেবিলটা পর্যন্ত ঈশ্বর, এই জলের বোতলটা পর্যন্ত ঈশ্বর। কিন্তু যতক্ষণ তুমি টেবিল বলে দেখছো, যতক্ষণ তুমি জলের বোতল বলে দেখছো, যতক্ষণ তুমি এই অক্সফোর্ড লাইব্রেরি সভাগৃহ বলে দেখছো, ততক্ষণ তোমার দেখা প্রাতিভাসিক দেখা হচ্ছে, চৈতন্যবান দেখা হচ্ছে না। এই দেখার পথটাই যিনি বলে দেন তিনি গুরু, এবং তিনি দেখেছেন জগৎকে সেইভাবে, সেই মোড়কে। সেই জন্য তার দৃষ্টি দিয়ে যদি আমরা দেখি, তাহলে ঈশ্বর তত্ত্ব সম্পর্কে আমাদের ধারণা আরো স্পষ্ট হবে, নিঃসংশয় হবে, নিঃসন্দিহান হবে। কেবলমাত্র কতগুলো চালাক লোক মানুষকে ভয় দেখিয়ে একটা 5,500-6,000 বছরের জ্ঞান প্রবাহ টিকিয়ে রাখতে পারে না। এর মধ্যে কোথাও একটা সত্য আছে, সেই সত্যকে খোঁজাই হচ্ছে ধর্মকে খোঁজা, ঈশ্বরকে খোঁজা। আপনাকে জানা আমার ফুরাবে না, ফুরাবে না, সেই জানারই সঙ্গে সঙ্গে তোমায় চেনা। আমি কেউ যদি কিছু প্রশ্ন করে তাহলে বুঝবো সবাই কিছু শুনেছে। সবার আগে আমার বাবাকে বলবো তিনি প্রশ্ন করুন, আমি চেষ্টা করব প্রশ্ন নিরসনের, কেন গুরুর দায়িত্ব প্রশ্ন নিরসন। প্রতি প্রশ্নেন পরিপ্রশ্নেন সেবয়া। আমি তো সাধু, আমার সেবা কি করে করবে? আমি তো চাও খাবো না, সিঙ্গারাও খাবো না তোমার। তাহলে আমার সেবা হচ্ছে আমাকে প্রশ্ন করতে হবে, আমি আমার জ্ঞান বিবেচনা মতো যথাশাস্ত্র বিধিতে তার উত্তর দেব। তাহলে আমি বাবার কাছে দিচ্ছি এই মন্তব্য।
You stand up. Yeah, you started the whole game. Why did you start this game? Yeah, I understand, but why did you start this game? It's a game. I understand, but I was answering your questions. But why did you bring a person who has his own convictions, and I respect his convictions, who has hijacked the whole event, and who has his own agenda, and his agenda is perfect. Here I have my own agenda, and his agenda and my agenda do not have any, what I would say, commonality.
So not required for the commonality.
It is required, you have to understand. There is no vastness. There is no vastness in the world. I am interacting with you. I do not have any questions for him. Why I do not have any questions from him is because I know where he comes from. I know what he is talking about. I know what is his background, not as a human, but energetically and spiritually. I know what he is referring to. And I know everything much, much beyond that. And you as a human will never come to know what I know. And I'm not expecting you as a human to know that even. I have one simple thing to say to the humans. I have a book that delivers. It does not deliver any teaching. It does not deliver any religion. It does not deliver any ethics or morality. It just says if you have pain or suffering, this book is going to serve you. If you have no pain or suffering, you do not need this book. That is the end. I'm not starting a religion, nor I'm debating with any religion.
Okay, sir, are you will conclude now? I will start now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for your elaborate speech. So it is very much interesting. Yesterday I met to you and you also delivered a lecture in press conference in our Calcutta Press Club. That time I was present there, and I observed your books and that I read yesterday night, and that is thoroughly. But I given the some point is very important in our human life.
No, you don't accept the book.
Now,
The second thing the book says, do not believe the
book for
book.
all. So you have include here. Book is the healing. Book is the truth. I conclude here. In the 6 point you enlightened here. But livelihood book is in for all, and book is the for our gain, sustain, and ability to maintain. This is my conclusion because I am the people. I come from class level. Okay, from the childhood I lost my father. Now I am the last 24 years. I am the professor, University of Calcutta, and professor and renowned
Yeah, I
5 industry
understand.
books are just. So book is my life. Okay, if you thinking book, I know that. Without book, never be possible for this altitude, gain the altitude. Okay, Mandaleshwar Maharaj is present there, and I invite him through via Chinmay Sharma. He's tell me that please gathering some scientists, renowned and
Yeah, but-
athletics people. Okay,
In order to question me, not in order
okay, no,
to...
sir, no, sir. Someone suppose some lady is standing here. She is elaborating regarding myself, introducing myself. It's not required, but from go to face, it required Professor Dr. Bharat Ratna ji, Mandaleshwar Maharaj just introduce himself.
I
Okay, now
understand.
you start the question throwing.
He is a
I will
member-
start question. I will throw a question. You here written here Shivam. I not accept your concept of Shivam.
But it is
I
not-
think Shivam. আমি যদি বাংলায় আসি, বাংলায় বলি, আমি রামকৃষ্ণ মিশনে ছোটবেলা শৈশব থেকে মানুষ হয়েছি। আমার গুরুদেবকে আমি কাছে পেয়েছি 113 বছরে দেহ রেখেছেন দণ্ডী স্বামী দামোদর আশ্রম মহারাজ, যাকে আমি মনে করি যে ভগবান কাছে না, সাম ইজ পাওয়ার, সাম ইজ দ্য ইন্টিগ্রিটি, সাম ইজ দ্য ডেফিনেশন। ওকে, হু ইজ দ্য গড? আমি যখন 3rd টাইম পিএইচডি করি ইন ল, আমি সুইডেনে, আমি বেড রেন, বাট নোবডি কাম টু মাই ল্যাব to help me. But I pray to God. What happened, God? I'll be come back to my India and my motherland. Nobody give me the answer. But now I am present in India. I am got the PhD in law, PhD in management, and my first PhD in the IIT Kharagpur. That I got in the DSc in science. Okay, so it is my aspect. So I meet to you, and definitely I provide you more time. Yesterday, last past 8 December, meet you with Professor Chinmay Sharma in the Peerless Inn regarding your, and he will directly. Please, Professor Dash, we have gathered a meeting.
Professor Dash, you are a very
So
very
it's a-
literate person. I have deep respect for you.
But I am content not conclude come here. What you tell me that you describe here, you write in here you are the message from God,
Yes.
and you are the person of God. But I not accept it.
I
Please
understand.
tell me that you are God, I am the bad.
No, I'm not God.
Okay, so who you message from God, but I think this is not sufficient for the message from God.
No, I
It is
don't
not
even say
contradiction.
that.
It is my invention. It is
This
the
may
it is
not
the-
be sufficient.
It is the event for discussing matter. Okay,
I'm not here to really convince you. I said I have a book which is not meant for intellectual use. It is meant as a book of healing. It
Sir, healing is not a single term. Healing is
a
a part
very
of the
simple.
feelings of life.
Healing is a very simple term. It just means I have pain.
Sir, no, sir. I'm not accept it because since I am a student of science, okay, as a scientist, healing is the body calculate, pulmonary calculating. It is not a healing part. I observing thing, but I seeing and visualizing thing. Suppose you go to the step up, step down. This is the observation, but is the part. Later this come on the examination, and the observation and examination is the far ahead. Go ahead. ওকে যদি আমি বলি স্যার পরীক্ষা নিরীক্ষা আর বিচক্ষণ তিনটে আলাদা শব্দ আছে আমি শিবকে শিব টেনে পুজো করতে পারি কিন্তু আমি মাটির শিবও বানাতে পারি পাথরের শিব বানাতে আমি শিবকে কিছু আকার হীন আমি ভাবতে পারি তো আপনার শিবের গল্পটা ঠিক আছে
What is your problem with the book or with
না
that
book
you
is
can-
acceptable book is I have a lot of books book is acceptable I gladly accept your books is a very
It is just a book. You may not accept
আপনি
it.
বলেছেন যে বই ধরলে আমি ভগবানের সাক্ষাৎ পেয়ে যাব কিন্তু আমি তো
But I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Did I say that?
একটুখানি ব্যাপার হচ্ছে টোটাল ডিসকাশনে ডিস্ট্রাকশন হচ্ছে অনেক উনি কিন্তু একবার বলেননি যে বইটা ধরলি আমরা
না।
শুনে লেট মি ফিনিশ যতক্ষণ বলতে বলুন উনি একবারও বলেননি আপনার মতবাদ ওনার মতবাদ প্রত্যেকটা ব্যক্তির নিজের মতবাদ আছে সো এখানে উই কেম ফর সামথিং নিউ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড আমরা এখানে কিন্তু কন্ট্রোভার্সি বা কিছুর জন্য আসেনি প্রত্যেকটা মতবাদ আলাদা ঠিক আছে আমার আপনার ম্যাচ নাও করতে পারে লেটস হ্যাভ এ কনসিয়াসনেস যেটার জন্য আসা এখানে প্রত্যেকটা মানুষ এখানে এসেছেন যে ভিড়টা করেছেন বা গ্যাদারিং যেটুকু যা হয়েছে ওনার একটা বক্তব্য রয়েছে যে there is a so far I understand I may be wrong both of you can correct I am not a believer or follower both of you okay so there is a supreme power something which is can predicted as a god or the more than the god from there he got some connectivity he's a mediator he's not a god he's a mediator he's also a mediator he's also not a god he's a human being he's also a mediator in a different ওনার কথাতেই যে যত মত তত পথ রামকৃষ্ণদেব যেটা বলে গেছিলেন ঠিক আছে তো ওনার একটা ওয়েট
কত ভ্রম
তত মেবি সো উনি কি সুন্দরভাবে বোঝালেন অদ্ভুতভাবে বোঝালেন জিনিসটাকে ওনার বোঝানো কোথাও কিন্তু লিঙ্ক আছে সেটা আপনারা অনেকেই হয়তো ধরতে পেরেছেন কি পারেননি আমি জানি না উনিও যা বলতে চাইছেন ইনিও তাই বলতে চাইছেন উনি একটা কথা বলেছেন যে ভগবান বলে কেই ভগবান নয় ইনি ঠিক একই কথা বলেছেন তাই তো আমি যদি ভুল না করে থাকি প্রকাশ মানে একটা অবয়ব একটা আপনি অনেক পিএইচডি এলএলএম অনেক কিছু করেছেন হ্যাটস অফ টু ইউ উইথ ইউজ এজ এন্ড দিস আপনি অনেক কিছু করেছেন বাট শ্রবণ শক্তিটা হয়তো কোথাও মিস করে গেছেন প্লিজ ডোন্ট মি রং টেক মি রং আপনি শ্রবণ শক্তিটা মনন এটা উনিও বলছেন মননটাকে তৈরি করুন বোঝার চেষ্টা করুন ইফ আই এম নট রং সরি আমি ডিস্টার্ব করে দিলাম ডিসকাশনটাকে আই রিকোয়েস্ট অল অফ ইউ টু ডিসকাস উইথ মিস্টার ঋতিক হু ইজ মডারেটিং হি ওয়াজ টেকিং আস ইন আ one by one in the different step of life probably he was on the right track probably we আমরা মনে হয় ওটাকে ডিস্ট্রাকশন করছিলাম উনি কিন্তু আস্তে আস্তে করে নিয়ে যাচ্ছিলেন টুয়ার্ডস দ্য এন্ড অফ দ্য ডিসকাশন
Don't mind. You just Professor Pradip Mukherji tell me that why you start and play the game. But I am not the player for the start.
No, I understand. I understand your point. I understand. I agree.
It's a God. What nobody to insult. Don't mind it. Professor Mukherji is here present. The honorable professor is here present. He known me.
No, there was some.
30 years.
No, there are some.
I am not a player. But start the game.
No. There was a mismatch, misunderstanding probably.
Good evening, everybody.
Probably Hrithik can.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Sorry to interrupt your committee. Sir, So please take a seat, and maybe we can arrange a special communication with you and Pradip sir, so that conversation can come to a fruition, because some people have taken time from their calendars to come and attend the event. So if we can just go forward for now. And excuse me, sir. So, I request Mr. Ritvik Mukherji to take over and bring this entire audience to a neutral space of God again.
The
Thank
whole
you.
idea of having a deliberation is starts with let us agree to disagree. So at the beginning of the session, we agreed to disagree. So there may be issues on which we will disagree. It's very common. In fact, if you look at it, both of them explain their viewpoints very elaborately and very nicely. And as he rightly pointed out, there was no conflict at all. Only thing is, it was explained in a very delicate and subtle way, which many of us, maybe I also missed out on so many points. So many of us may have missed so many points where they the whole two ideas actually converge.
Yes.
We thought it
So
was divergent.
how can you take it to the next level now?
I think we can take it to the next level. Going back to a very gross and basic level, me, myself being a student of economics, let me explain it with the concept of economics. We all studied, whoever have studied little bit of economics, they know there is a concept of diminishing marginal utility or diminishing marginal propensity to consume. Once you consume something too much, then the utility goes down beyond a point.
Yes.
So I think we have consumed enough throughout the day about this. So maybe it's time that the utility is diminishing. Suppose
And
I
I
love to
agree.
eat
I agree.
I love to eat rasgulla. So I would love to go on having rasgulla up to 4. After 5, I would say, no, I don't want it. But after 6, I would only have that 6 rasgulla if I am paid something more.
Diminishing return. Diminishing return.
That's what I explained. Diminishing marginal utility or diminishing marginal propensity to consume. So we have reached a point.
So it's like I have talked too much.
No, all of us.
It was eye-opener for all of us.
Maybe it was
So-
too much for the audience.
I understand. It has been my experience that people cannot digest me. And I'm in this game for last 8 years. Trust me, people don't digest me. The only people who come to me is they come in pain, they get relief from pain, and they are thankful for getting that relief. And that is all my job is. Very clear. You have pain, here is a book, talk to the book. You have no pain, you don't need the book. Bottom line. আমি কোনো ধর্ম, কোনো রিলিজিয়ন, কোনো আধ্যাত্মিকতা কিছু আমি শুরু করতে আসিনি। আমার এগুলোর সাথে কিছু লেনা দেনা নেই। আমি এগুলোকে একেবারে পুরোপুরি উপর থেকে নিচে সব দেখে নিয়েছি।
Why your book is unique?
Why my book is
Unique.
why it is unique is because আমাকে যে সোর্স করছে সে আজ অব্দি কাউকে সোর্স করেনি। আপনি আমার বই পড়লে বুঝতে পারবেন যে বইয়ের মধ্যে যা লেখা রয়েছে সেটা সমস্ত ধর্মগ্রন্থের বিপক্ষে যাচ্ছে। তো তার মানে এই হয়ে গেল, দুটো জিনিসই হলো, হয় আমি শয়তানের থেকে আসছি, আমার পিছনে শয়তান রয়েছে, কিংবা আরেকটা জিনিস হলো যে আমার পিছনে রয়েছে সে অন্য কোনো মানুষের পিছনে নেই। এই দুটোই কনক্লুশন হতে পারে। যদি শয়তান আপনি মনে করেন আমার পিছনে রয়েছে, ছেড়ে দিন, ড্রপ দ্য বুক। যদি আপনার মনে হয় আমার পিছনে এমন একজন কেউ রয়েছে যে অন্য কোনো মানুষের পিছনে নেই, তাহলে একবার এক্সামিন করে নিন যে জিনিসটা আমি দিয়েছি। দ্যাটস অল। হ্যাঁ,
ভগবান বলে যে কনফ্লিক্ট জেনারেট করে তাদেরকে ভগবান পিএনটি নেয়, আর যারা অসৎ বা যারা ক্রাইম করে ভগবান ঈশ্বর বর তাদেরকে কাছে রাখে। যেরকম যিশু জ্যাস কিছু বলেছিল, ওরা বুঝতে পারছে না ওরা কি করছে, ওদের ক্ষমা করে, হে ঈশ্বর এই করুণা আমার, তুমি ওদের ক্ষমা করো। তো আমার মনে হলো যদি আমি আপনার কাছে অন্যায় করে থাকি, তো আপনি আমাকে গেম প্লেয়ার না বলে আমাকে প্রথম ক্ষমা করাটা উচিত ছিল, বিকজ ইউ হ্যান্ড ওভার মি মেসেজ ফ্রম গড। So like you are
আমি যেটা করেছি আমি
যিশু খ্রিস্ট ছিলেন কি মেসেঞ্জার অফ গড he never tells
I concluded the conversation. I can carry the conversation in private, but not in front of these people.
Mr. Das, maybe after the event is over, we can arrange a special space where all three of you can discuss.
তিনি রাম, তিনি কৃষ্ণ, তিনি রাম, তিনি হচ্ছে রামকৃষ্ণ। রামকৃষ্ণকে আমরা সবাই চোখে দেখেছি এবং রামকৃষ্ণ বলেছে যে তোমার চৈতন্য হোক, তোমার ঈশ্বরের ভক্তি হোক, তোমার আগ্রহ হোক। ঈশ্বর কিন্তু
আপনি কি কোনো ওয়ার্কশপ অ্যাটেন্ড করেছেন বা কোনো ইন্টারঅ্যাকশন হয়েছিল না কোনো
না না স্যার সাথে
ওনার ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডটা কিছু
হ্যাঁ টেস্ট স্টাডি করেছি
that's the issue.
Okay, Mr. Ritwik, maybe you can just take it from here,
That's
please.
the gap.
Things are going little too heavy.
So let's-
we bring it down to a lighter level.
Yes, you can do that.
Yes.
You are the right person.
Rita Devani, he has taken a strong exception in Kalata. Because আমরা জানি being someone from this state, even in politics we say খেলা হবে. So খেলা হবে is nothing wrong. And play the game in the spirit of the game.
Yes.
I respect to Dr. Dipsit sir and Bigma sir. This is very harm, not I am not harmful man because I'm the.
No one said that.
I think I'm the at least younger here. Somebody is and I am 44 years. So please excuse me if I talk into it. But Professor Pradip Mukherji, I don't know in which subject it is. I mean, my life is at least 35% dedicated to.
I'm not a
This
professor.
is our trend. You message from God is all in Google. I think this is the very hurt me, but nobody can hurt to other. It is the strength of God. Thank you very much. Have a nice meeting to you. And after 2 days, meeting to you, I get into my knowledge in my future life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Professor Das. I think we have had enough of this. I mean, it's good for any deliberation. Debate is part of any deliberation. So we have little bit of debating. It's not bad. So I think we all enjoyed the first part of it and the last part of it also. In cricket also we have power plays and normal plays. So let us consider that part as 5 overs power play and again next 5 overs power play. So you'll remember the whole match, the power play and the normal innings as well. I'm sure like me, you all have enjoyed this evening. And as Swamiji Maharajji said, we need food. We have had food also, so let us have some food for thought as well as we go back home. Thank you very much. Have a very wonderful
And I
evening.
thank you all for coming. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to offer a vote of thanks. Just 2 minutes. Firstly, thank you, Mr. Ritwik, for this beautiful evening organizing this event, and all our special guests, and all the visitors who stayed back, all the press people who've come for this interesting conversation, and everybody who brought different aspects of God with all that we have grown up, and still keep the space open to receive a different perspective. That itself shows the openness in each one of you at some level. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And thank you, Oxford Bookstore, for providing us the space to have this